the encounter. Evening settled softly over the southern Louisiana bayou plantation. Cicadas sang in the wet heat. Spanish moss swayed from the oaks, and the air carried the mingled scent of river water, damp earth, and wood smoke. Beyond the porch, the darkening fields and whispering trees seemed to hold the house inside an old and watchful hush. I sat on the porch, rocking chairs, drinking whiskey with Baby.
Gladys, Emil came by looking for you after dinner last night. He asked for you, however, most of the family had retired for bed, so I told him to come back later in the week.
My heart dropped. I chugged a large swallow of the whiskey left in the glass.
Actually, he left you something. I'll be back.
Gregory appeared with another bottle of whiskey from the cellar, and I motioned for him to proceed with another pour. "Cum are you at, Gregory?" "What is it, Gregory?"
Miss Gladys, I haven't been sleeping well lately.
"You know you aren't just the butler. You a family." "Well, Gregory?"
I have something important to tell you. I overheard Miss Sarah talking with Mr. Jacob, and I'm concerned with the future of this house. He was quite aggressive with Sarah, more than usual, and I wonder if he has been hurting her physically. She has become despondent. She has even become more cruel than normal toward Baby. I thought initially it was stress from your mother's condition, but I'm afraid there is more to it.
"The whole family is aware of the love you have for Sarah. You were more of a sibling to us years ago. I can't imagine that Jacob would bring her harm. Of course he is brash and quite obnoxious. However, are you jealous, Gregory?" I said it jokingly. Gregory left the porch and went to his quarters for bed.
It was love between us, Miss Gladys, pure love, not what she has with Mr. Jacob Darsh.
I thought my response was innocent, of course, not realizing the fire in Gregory's heart for Sarah had never died. Night pressed heavy against Gregory's quarters. The wind worried the shutters, and the old house groaned as though it remembered things better left buried. Mr. Johnson's warning still clung to Gregory's mind like swamp mist. He sat on the edge of his narrow bed, staring into the weak table lamp.
That man's words were not right. They'd unsettled in my spirit like a curse.
Listening to the dark breathe beyond his window, with trembling hands, Gregory reached for the worn Bible resting on his table.
What did he see that I cannot, and why do I feel it coming closer?
He opened it slowly, as though the Lord's word itself might hold back whatever shadow had begun to gather round him. He read until his voice softened, and the tightness in his chest eased some.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
Then he laid in his bed and prayed for peace. As weariness overtook him, Gregory stretched out in the bed.
Lord, if evil walks near me, let your hand be nearer still.
And sleep came down over him slow and uneasy. But in the deep of night, the dream found him. In the nightmare, Gregory recalled his past.
No, stay back.
The horses' hooves clipped on the cobblestone streets. Gregory sat back, taking in New Orleans sights and sounds. The air was thick with the aroma of Cajun spices, and distant music floated through the warm evening air. He felt a thrill of excitement as he wondered what adventures this enchanting city had in store for him. As the carriage turned a corner, a gas lamp caught Gregory's eye. Its flickering light glowed on a narrow alleyway ahead. His curiosity piqued, he asked the driver to stop. He felt an inexplicable pull to the mysterious path. It seemed to lead to New Orleans secrets. As Gregory stepped out of the carriage and approached the dark alley, he noticed a figure in the shadows. The stranger wore a long, tattered coat. It billowed in the breeze, obscuring their face. A shiver ran down Gregory's spine, but he couldn't ignore the curiosity that tugged at him.
Hello?
Gregory called out, his voice echoing off the walls of the alley with uncertainty. The figure stood still, its soft breathing the only sound Gregory could hear. Steeling himself, Gregory took a step forward, determination pushing aside his unease. As he drew closer, the figure finally spoke in a low, whispery voice that sent a shiver down his spine.
You're looking for answers, traveler, but some secrets are not meant for you to uncover.
His voice rasped through the alley like dry wind. The figure stepped into the light, revealing piercing eyes that held centuries of knowledge.
I am known as Elder Alden, guardian of the ancient prophecies.
Gregory's heart pounded as he stared at the figure before him. He felt a mix of fear and excitement swirling inside him, unsure of what he was getting himself into, but the need for answers burned within him, pushing him to go on.
What do you mean by some people should not uncover all secrets?
Gregory asked, keeping his voice steady despite the uncertainty gnawing at him.
Who are you?
Some truths can cause more harm than good, young traveler.
Elder Alden's voice echoed with centuries of knowledge as he regarded Gregory with a knowing look, a faint smile playing on his lips.
Are you ready to face the consequences of what you may find?
His reply was cryptic, his expression unreadable.
Very well.
Gregory hesitated, weighing his options, but his curiosity outweighed his fear. He squared his shoulders and met the figure's gaze.
I must find the truth, no matter the cost.
Gregory said it with quiet resolve. Elder Alden nodded, his features still half hidden in the flickering light of the alley.
Follow me.
Elder Alden's voice drifted through the French Quarter alley like a whisper of wind.
Prepare for what lies ahead.
Elder Alden turned and glided into the shadows, his tattered coat billowing behind him. Gregory hesitated for a moment, then steeled his resolve and followed him. As they navigated the city's maze-like alleys, Gregory felt they had crossed into a different world. The usual sounds of the bustling streets faded into an eerie silence. A distant owl's hoot and the scurrying of unseen creatures broke the hush. Elder Alden moved as if guided by a supernatural force and never looked back to check whether Gregory was still behind him. As Gregory began to wonder if he had made a mistake, Elder Alden stopped before a nondescript wooden door set in the brick wall of a Creole cottage in the French Quarter. He turned to face Gregory, his eyes intense and unsettling, sending a shiver down Gregory's spine.
Beyond this door lie the answers you seek, but once you step through, there is no turning back.
Elder Alden spoke so low the words were almost inaudible.
Are you prepared to face the truths that await you? You have come seeking the truth.
Gregory hesitated for a moment, his heart racing in his chest. The unknown stretched out before him like a yawning chasm, but the burning desire for answers flared to life again, steeling his resolve.
I am.
Gregory replied, his voice firm even as his hands trembled. Gregory stepped forward, reached for the door handle, and with a deep breath pushed it open, stepping into the darkness. A gust of cold air greeted Gregory, sending a shiver down his spine. A flickering candle on a small wooden table was the only light. Shadows danced on the walls, casting eerie, moving shapes. Elder Alden followed him inside, his presence looming in the small room. Gregory turned to face him, unstartled now, but still deeply curious. His heart pounded as he awaited the secrets to come.
But know this, the truth is not always what it seems.
Elder Alden intoned, his voice echoing off the walls.
You seek the Amulet of Darkness to protect your beloved?
A knot formed in Gregory's stomach, uncertainty gnawing at him, but he steeled himself, facing the figure with resolve.
For the last time, I will face whatever truths lie ahead.
Gregory declared it, his voice steady despite the unease beneath it. Elder Alden nodded with deliberation.
The amulet you seek is powerful.
Yes,
Gregory whispered in the dim room.
someone told me it can shield her from a dark threat. It seeks to consume her soul. She is pregnant, and her bloodline is cursed, people say.
Elder Alden looked at Gregory, his piercing eyes searching his very core.
But it has a great cost.
Elder Alden cautioned him with grave certainty. Gregory listened with great focus, hanging on every word. The weight of the pending revelation settled on him, but he refused to waver.
What price?
Gregory asked, his voice betraying a hint of fear.
The amulet can shield your beloved from darkness, but it will bind her fate to the one who bestows it upon her.
Elder Alden explained it with eerie calm.
Once she wears the amulet, it will create an unbreakable bond, but it requires a blood sacrifice of true love 3 times in 3 ways. The death of the purest love comes first, followed by the love of family, and concluding with the love of true love in union.
Gregory woke with a violent start in his narrow bed, his breath torn and uneven, his nightshirt clinging damp to his skin. The room was dark save for the dying lamp on the table, and for a moment he did not know whether he had returned from the dream at all.
Lord have mercy.
A strange unease pulled him from the bed. Gregory rose, crossed the room on shaking legs, and went to the window. Beyond the glass, the plantation yard lay under a wash of moonlight, the grass silvered, the shadows long and watchful. Then he saw him, near the largest oak on the plantation, where the roots swelled up from the earth like old bones, stood Mr. Johnson. His arms moved slow through the night air, tracing signs Gregory could not understand, while his mouth worked in a low murmur that did not sound like prayer.
It felt too near, too real.
Gregory pressed closer to the window. The old oak shuddered though no wind stirred, and the hanging moss twisted like living fingers. Mr. Johnson lifted something small in his hand toward the trunk and spoke again, sharper now, as if commanding the darkness itself to listen.
What was buried shall answer. What was sleeping shall rise.
Mr. Johnson, what are you doing out there? No, this ain't right. This ain't of God.
Fear seized Gregory by the throat, but something stronger drove him forward. He snatched up his Bible from the table, clutched it hard against his chest, and hurried to the door. The house seemed to hold its breath as he reached for the handle.
Lord, stand before me now. Do not leave me to whatever walks in that yard.
He opened the door, ready to step into the hall and down toward the yard, but he stopped cold. Sarah stood there before him in her nightclothes, her eyes red with weeping and her face gone pale as ash. She looked as though she had come from another kind of fear altogether.
Gregory.
Sarah, what happened? Why are you crying?
Sarah clutched at Gregory's arm, tears spilling fresh down her cheeks. Before he could press her for more, a terrible cry rose from somewhere out on the plantation grounds, and the lamp behind them went black.
Jacob said, "If I run to you again, there'll be blood."